how to use finally, and how to use throws. Let's discuss about in details. First of all, what is Java finally block? Java finally block is a block that is used to execute important code such as closing connection stream, etc. Java finally blocks is that type of block which is always executed. Whether the exception is handled or not, this block is always executed. So if we want to execute that statement, if we want some statement that is executed, if there is exceptions occur in our program or not, then that type of statement we can put it inside the Java finally block. And Java finally block follows the try or catch block. Here is the detailed descriptions of Java finally block. First of all, in our program code, if an exception occurred, then the exception handle, or if it is exception handle, then yes, the finally block is executed. If exception is not handled, then also the finally block executed. And if exceptions not occur, then also the finally block is executed. So we can clearly see from this diagram here that whatever the condition or whatever the exception is, the finally block is that block which is executed in any situations. So if we want any statement that is executed, whether it is whether the condition is whatever, or we can say that whether the exception occur or whether the exception handle or not, then on that point of time we can use the finally block and we can put the statement inside the finally block. Here is a syntax of a Java finally block. First of all, we can use try and then catch and then finally. We can also use finally block after the try block statement. So it is recommended that the try block statement is proceed by either the catch block or finally block. But what is, we cannot use try block alone. It is recommended to use it with the catch block or the finally block. Both the syntax is correct. Let's discuss about the Java throws keyword. We already know about the Java finally keyword. Let's discuss about the Java throws keyword. So the Java throw keyword is used to declare an exception. It gives an information to the programmer that there may occur an exception. So it is better for the programmer to provide the exception handling code so that the normal flow can be maintained. If we know that there is an exception, so the throws keyword is used to declare that type of exception, and it also gives an information to the programmer that in this code there may be an exception occur. So it is better to that programmer to provide the exception handling for that code so the normal flow can be maintained. Exception handling is mainly used to handle the checked exception. If there occurs any unchecked exception such as null pointer exception, it is programmer's fault that he is not performing checkup before the code being used. So this throws keyword is mostly used with the checked exceptions. Here is the syntax of throws. We have to write the any method name and then return type the method name, and after the method name we put the throws keyword, which shows that inside the method there may be some exception that occurs, and throws keyword is used to declare that exception. And here we use the exceptions class name, whatever it is. If we want to throw the SQL exception, we just write throws SQL exception and then inside it the method code. Here are some advantages of Java throw keyword. Let's discuss about it. Now, checked exception can be propagated, means that the checked exception can also be forwarded in a stack. Second is it provides information to the caller of the method about the exception. If that method is called by some other method, then it also provides that this method contains an exception or not. Let's see the code. Let's see the code related to finally block and throws statement or throws keyword. A class test finally block, and inside it we create a main method, and then you use try statement. Then inside the try block, we write int data is equals to 25 divisible by 5. We think that this statement might contain some error. That's why we put this statement inside the try block. And then we print the system.out-println data. If data is equals to 25 divisible by 5 contains any error, then system.out-println data will not execute it. After that, inside the catch, we just write null pointer exception E and then print the value of E. And inside the finally block, we write finally block is always executed and rest of the code. We just save it and let's execute it. We are already in our file location, so just write java test finally block.java. See, it will compile successfully. Let's execute it. Here it compiles here it executes successfully as it doesn't contain any error. That's why it print all the statements. And hence finally block is executed here also. Let's take another example. Here we see that this is an error. When we divide 25 by 0, it prints the null pointer exception, that is divisible by 0. And for this reason the data is not printed, and but instead of being error, the finally block is executed. Just save it and let's execute it. So first of all, we write java test finally block1.java. Hence it compiles successfully. Let's execute it. See, finally block is always executed and this statement is executed, but all other statement will not execute because of the error occurs here, that is divisible by 0, and it is caught in null pointer exception. So we see here that only the statement which is inside the finally block is executed, and rest of the statement will not executed, whether it is date or rest of the code. Whatever the statement is, it is not executed. So if we want to put anything and we want to execute anything, then it is recommended to use inside the finally block. Let's see the example of throws keyword. Here we make a class java throws the one, and here we create a method that is void m, and in which throws the IO exception, and again we show the throw new IO exception device error, that is checked exception. And inside the void n method, we just invoke this method, and again we invoke this method n, and here we catch this method inside the try catch, and which we write it here as its exception handle. And when I create the object of this and when we call the method p, then first of all the method n is called, and we see that method n is throws IO exception and called method m, and when it goes inside the method m, it shows that it throws IO exception. So in this way we can throws the exceptions in Java. Just save it and let's execute it. We are already in our location, so just write java test throw1.java. Java test throws1.java. See, it compiles successfully. Let's execute it. Java test throws1. Hence, it gave me the answer, that is exception handle, and it is inside the normal flow. So in this way, we can use the finally and throw keyword in Java. Thank you.